And we are on, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I come to you again as the bearer of bad news. 3 incidents in Europe today, guys, all right? So what are we on today? Is it the 3rd? Is it the 3rd? 3 incidents today, 3rd of July in Europe, involving sharp things that sometimes have a pointy end on them. 3 incidents in Europe, guys. We've got Manchester, we've got the United Kingdom, actually, we've got England, we've got Finland, and we've got Germany. 3 of these incidents, now, I don't think they're related. In fact, you know what, guys? I'm probably going to say there's a low likelihood that these incidents are related. But just the fact that there have been 3 incidents like in one day, and the media is totally like silent about this. It's unbelievable. We're going to be talking about that today, guys. We're going to be talking about Iran as well, guys. We're going to be talking about Iran. Listen, I did a video yesterday, and I talked. Was it yesterday or the day before? And I talked about what is happening in Iran, what's happening with Israel, what's happening with the Middle East, guys. Listen. These problems haven't gone away anywhere. The problems are still there. Trust me, guys, all right? And I think what we have at the moment is a lull in the battle where the Iranians are doing X, the Israelis are doing Y, Donald Trump is doing Z, and David Lammy, well, he's concentrating on tiny shoelaces. But anyway, guys, listen, let's just get on to it, right? Let me jump onto these... where am I? I need to click some buttons. I need to click that one. No, I don't. I need to click that one. So the incidents here, guys, we have got, where have we got? We have got a double incident in Manchester. So this is from Manchester, guys, right? So Manchester, Piccadilly Gardens, a gentleman, 2 gentlemen actually, are in hospital fighting for, trying not to transcend into beams of light, with new police powers across the whole of the city. Guys, this is unbelievable what's happening right now. And, if you look at the mainstream media, you would think the biggest story, if you look on the news today, you would think the biggest story was Rachel Reeves crying. But apparently no. A man is fighting for his life in hospital while a second is receiving treatment after a double incident in Piccadilly Gardens. I hope it's not that guy. What's that guy's name? You know, that YouTuber? Charlie Venich or something. I hope it's not Charlie Venich, because I kind of like him, guys. I kind of like him. Emergency service has descended on the notorious city centre. Why is it notorious? I don't know. At 12:50 a.m. this morning. So like last night, basically. Like, they're saying it's this morning, but it was like early hours yesterday morning. Early hours this morning or very late last night. Following reports of a disturbance involving the things, ladies and gentlemen, the things that we're not allowed to talk about, the things that you eat your dinner with that's not a fork and it's not a spoon. Excuse me. Greater Manchester Police said 2 men, one in his 20s and one in his 30s, were taken from the scene to hospital from the scene with associated, the things that you would get if you was... No arrests have been made so far, which is interesting, and inquiries are ongoing. So now it looks like we have literally, like, Manchester has lost control. Listen, guys, a few. Remember when I said, listen, I'm not going back on what I said about tomorrow. Okay, let me just throw this out there, all right, guys. Tomorrow is the 4th of July, International Treason Day for the Americans, and I'll be sending all my American friends, I'll be sending them all messages of saying, hello, happy Treason Day to you guys. But months ago, guys, I said that, months ago, maybe even last year, I said we are going to see the first skirmishes in Cardiff on the 4th of July. I'm not going back on that, guys, all right? Let me be clear. I am not going back on that. I still believe it's going to come. I still believe all the data points are pointing there. a couple of you guys have come up and said, listen, Sean, we feel it's going to be, in Manchester, there's going to be 340,000 people at the Oasis concert. And now we're seeing all this direction and this energy towards Manchester. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Listen, I'm not going back on anything. Look, guys, it's not a competition. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll say I'm wrong. I can't be, it just proves I don't have a crystal ball. But what we can see here, guys, is an uptick of incidents, shall we say, around that Manchester airport. Around that Manchester area. Germany, guys, okay? Vienna, a man with, these are all things that happen today, guys, right? These are all things that happen today. And if you look on the mainstream media, the only thing that's happening is Rachel Reeves crying. A German man, probably his name is probably Hans or something, probably Hans or Rupert. So Germany. Now the implement that was used on this was one of the things that you would use to if you had a tree in your garden and you wanted to listen, guys. For you YouTube guys, I'll be talking about this later, but for the TikTok, I have to be very careful with the algorithm. So in Germany, the thing that you would take down a tree with, that was used on a train to Vienna. 4 people injured. At least 4 people have been injured after a man with a device, we'll just say, and a hammer. I mean, what is it now, guys? You know how there was right, listen, guys. You know how in the United Kingdom there was a ban on samurai, there was a ban on samurais. We're not allowed samurais in the United Kingdom anymore. So now in Germany, what are they going to do? They're going to have a ban on lumberjacks and handymen. We need to ban handymen because of the hammers that they have, and we need to ban lumberjacks because of the tools they have. Do you know what, ladies and gentlemen? We need to deal with the root cause of the problem, which is not the tools, it's the person. And then we need to identify what is associating all these people together. Anyway, with a man and a hammer attacked passengers on a train in Germany. Around 150 police officers and emergency personnel, were deployed to the scene. Police said about 500 people were on board the Ice Express train en route to Vienna. I have to go to Vienna in a couple of months. A couple of weeks, actually. When is it? It's pretty soon, actually, but I have to go to Vienna. Those injured have been taken to hospital and the attacker has been detained. German newspaper Bild reported the police said the attacker was a 20-year, this is like, guys, right, this is not me speculating now. This is me giving you this from the express.co.uk. So this is from the mainstream tabloids now. The German newspaper Bild has reported that the police, so listen, look how everybody's sloping their shoulders now. Look how everybody's sloping their shoulders. Even I'm happy to do it, guys. The German newspaper Bild has reported that the police said the attacker was a 20-year-old Syrian. I don't know, guys. I mean, are we starting to put things together? Are we starting to put things together and think there's some sort of I don't know. And then we've got the other incident. And again, guys, this is today in Finland. Several injured after. You know the thing that people, you know when you go and eat your dinner, you get a fork, you get a spoon, you get something else? Well, somebody used one of those things in a shopping centre today in Finland. One person, a person arrested following the incident at Ratina shopping centre in the city of Tampere. The situation no longer poses a danger to outsiders, local police said in a statement. They added that the area had been cordoned off and several people are receiving first aid. Guys, look, this sort of stuff did not happen 10 years ago. This sort of stuff did not happen 20 years ago. Do you know what? This sort of stuff didn't happen 5 years ago. So what's happened, ladies and gentlemen? What has happened? Europe truly has fallen, guys. It's not just like, you know how we all think it's our own towns and cities that bad things are happening to? We all think it's, it's just in our area. Turns out it's not, guys. It looks like it's all over Europe, all over the United Kingdom, all over the world. Even the Americans are starting to suffer with this now, guys. Even the Americans are starting to suffer with this. And then we've got, guys, listen, I'm going to go on to an article now from CNN. For those of you who think erroneously, if anybody, listen, guys, when I'm talking about this stuff, I would much rather be talking about like aliens and, you know, and the boogosphere, you know, propulsion, UFOs, and that sort of stuff. But at the moment, this is what's affecting our lives, guys. This really is what's affecting our lives. Iran's president approves law suspending cooperation with UN nuclear watchdog, which doesn't seem like a good thing. Now, guys, look, I'm putting these together and I'm putting these things together. So for those of you guys who've been watching the channel, in fact, how long, guys, listen, we're on now, I guess. Can you do the thing, please? I've started my monologue. Can you guys do the thing, whether it's up here or down at the bottom, the like, the follow, subscribe, bell notifications. Remember, we are double streaming. We're streaming on TikTok. We are also streaming on YouTube at the same time. So all these videos, guys, will be uploaded to YouTube. And then they'll be there as public record. So we can look back at things and say, oh, no, do you know what? Sean never said that. Or, oh, yes, Sean did say that. Well, look, guys, Iran's president approves a law suspending cooperation with UN nuclear watchdog. Now, this to me, guys, look, I don't know how old you are. I don't know how old you are. And however old you are, you look a lot younger. Let's just say that, because all you guys look very young for your ages. I can remember, because I was in the military, I can remember the build-up to the war in Iraq. I can, guys. I can remember the build-up, and this to me seems like the build-up to the war in. You know, this to me seems like the build-up to the war, guys. Listen, I will come onto the comments in a minute, guys. I'll jump onto the comments in a minute, guys. I'm just conscious the comments are going crackers over on TikTok. This to me seems like the build-up to the war in Iraq. Remember how the Chilcot report, and it was, you know, Saddam Hussein could deploy weapons of mass destruction within 30 minutes. Now, whether that was right or wrong, it kind of doesn't matter, because that was the premise that the coalition went into Iraq. Now, listen. So I'm just going to read you this article again, guys. Okay, Iran's president approves law suspending cooperation with the nuclear watchdog. Now, remember what do you know what? It's not even what we've talked about. If you guys remember, back in 2023, law passed in the United States saying that under no circumstances will the United States let the Iranians, I'm paraphrasing. It basically says there was a law passed in the United States on the 1st of November. I have to do this, guys, because the algorithm, if I say something didactically inaccurate, I might get the video flagged, because I am skirting on a fine line. United States, 2023, 1st of November, there was a bill passed. In that bill, it said that the United States would take all action necessary. Sounds like a Christopher Nolan film, doesn't it? I will take whatever action necessary. You like to do what all is necessary. Don't waste your fuel. What are you doing? Cooper, what are you doing? Darkin, it's not possible. No, it's necessary. Really just feel like a nuclear Nolan film, Christopher Nolan film. That law that was passed said that the United States would basically take all action necessary to stop Iran gaining a nuclear weapon. Now, if these airstrikes, if it turns out in the next couple of days, weeks, months that these airstrikes have been unsuccessful, then they're unsuccessful. Doesn't matter if you do it again, they're unsuccessful. The weapon system doesn't work. Now we've got, as an article from CNN, Iran's president approves the law suspending cooperation with nuclear watchdogs. So if the nuclear watchdogs are not allowed to be in there, how are they going to know what's happening, guys? You know, how are they going to know what's happening? I'm going to suspect, guys, you know, that, look, I don't think we've heard I don't believe that we've heard the end of this, guys, with Iran. I really don't. CNN, Iranian president has approved a law to halt cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency, a move which will likely obscure any attempt by Tehran to restart its damaged nuclear program. The Death Star is fully operational. We have a fully operational Death Star. Wednesday's decision comes a week after Iran's parliament passed a law to suspend cooperate. Well, hang on, with the nuclear watchdog. That doesn't make any sense. Right, okay, I'm just reading off this thing, guys. It doesn't make any sense. Wednesday's decision comes a week after Iran's parliament passed the law. I don't listen. They must have strange things in Iran and how they work. I don't know. Iran blames the IAEA, so the International Atomic Energy, whatever it's called, agency, for collaborating with Israel and providing a pathway for strikes on its nuclear facility. So what the Iranians are saying here is the International Atomic Energy have given information to Israel and by de facto the United States that would then give them the ability to strike their nuclear facilities. But look, guys, you know, the only way, and I've said this so many times, guys, the only way to stop the nuclear facility, the only way to do the job is boots on the ground, guys. It really is. The only way to do that is boots on the ground. Anyway, guys, let me jump up and get some comments. The comments are going crazy tonight, guys. You guys are commenting. You guys are commenting on TikTok like the commenting commenters from Commentsville. Right, listen, there's so many comments. I'm just going to jump down to the bottom. James is saying, Trump stopped Patriot missiles going to Ukraine because he's worried about the USA's own stockpile and protection. Yeah, I mean, look, we've talked about this before, haven't we? We've said that, you know, the United States we're going to go your own way. Go your own way. Yeah, so the United States are going their own way. The United States are going into the Middle East, and the United Kingdom leading the charge into Europe. Look, and guys, listen, I'll be quite clear with you. The way that NATO is set up right now, the way that the NATO militaries are set up right now, it's not a win for NATO right now, guys. You know, in my analysis, anyway, guys. In my analysis, Sharon Owen is saying good evening. I'm saying good evening right back to Sharon Owen. Good evening to you, Sharon Owen, as well. Danny Boy is saying it's Friday tomorrow. What we saying is going to happen. Look, guys, I still think tomorrow we've got a high likelihood of an incident in Cardiff, guys. You know, I've been talking about this. It's going to be the first day of the Oasis concert. You're going to get that critical mass. Whether it happens or not tomorrow, guys, right now it kind of doesn't matter because it's way back when I started talking about this, guys, and I started talking about the Summer of Carnage. I said, look, I think the first potential flashpoint could be the 4th of July in Cardiff. The stuff that's happened in the United Kingdom since then, it's been an order of magnitude, guys. It's been on an order of magnitude. So right now, it's worse. We're in a worse situation in the United Kingdom than we were back then. And, you know, whether it happens on the 4th, whether it happens on the 11th, kind of doesn't matter anymore because right now, guys, nothing is more certain. Oh, Dodsbra is saying, did you see? In fact, let me pin this. Right, guys, listen. Guys, I think Donald Trump listen, guys, whether you guys love him or hate him, I think he's great. I would have voted for Donald Trump, but you've got to understand when you vote for these people, you always get the uniparty, all right? So Donald Trump as a person, you know, I definitely would have voted for him, and I would have voted for him again if the choice, and listen, guys, I'm not American. I don't claim to be American, although America is one of the places that we may have to bug out to. If the choice is Harris or Trump, I'm voting Trump Every time, guys, every time. But we've just got to be clear, and we've got to look that there's a bigger game in town here, guys. There's a bigger game behind the scenes. So, excuse me. Dodsbra is saying, did you see Iran proposes a 20 million hit on Trump? Now, look, guys, let's be fair. 20 million's 20 million, all right? Like, and I think Donald Trump would even say himself, Sean, if you think you can get that hit in and you want to go for it, I think you should go for it. There's a lot of money. It's going to change your life. So if you and your TikTok fans want to jump together and pool your resources and come at me, I'm here all day, bro. Like, I don't know. 20 million is a long time. I mean, how would you claim that money? Like literally, how would you claim that money? Because 20 million is a lot of money. So you'd have to go to the Iranians and say, yes, I did it. I mean, how are you going to prove that you did it? How are you going to get out the United States? But yeah, it is what it is. I think it's fake news, to be honest. I don't see how they're going to, I don't see how they're going to be able to, I don't see how, like, the Iranians are going to pay that. I mean, what they're going to do? They're going to do like, I don't know how they're going to pay you with that. And are they going to pay you, or are they just going to say, is it done? Yeah. Is he totally transcended to a beam of light? Yes. Oh, yeah, we're not going to pay you now. We're not going to pay you. Like, what? No, I did a really good job for you. You got a contract. Well, no, you don't really get a contract for stuff. It's like, more a trust thing. Yeah, we're not going to pay you. We're not going to pay you. So, I just be worried about getting paid. Zoe Dean is saying, I got a feeling, something going to happen on the 7th. Yeah, so guys, it's the 20th anniversary, isn't it? Of the look, guys, there's so many of these dates coming up. And like, I mean, what are we gonna do now, guys? We've banned samurais. Are we gonna ban handymen? Are we gonna ban lumberjacks? Is that the next thing we're banning? Yeah, so it's Zoe Dean is saying it's the 20th anniversary of I mean, it wasn't the first. It certainly wasn't the first UK's. It wasn't the first. Hang on, let me pin this because I need people to understand what I'm talking about. It certainly wasn't the first because we'd been dealing with the IRA, but it was certainly the first real Islamist attack on the United Kingdom. And look, guys, let's be clear. There will be people now. And for the TikTok audience, for the algorithm, guys, I'm going to be talking a little bit of a code, but you know what I'm talking about. Let's be clear. There will be people now, right now, as I'm speaking, there will be people sat in hotels, eating the food that we've provided for them, in the hotels, sleeping in the beds that we've paid for. There'll be people sat there, and they'll be planning stuff. What you think, whatever you guys think they're planning, it's totally up to you. I'm personally thinking that they're going to be planning a cricket game or like tiddlywinks or something like that. But, they will be planning stuff in their rooms, guys. Mark my words, be under no illusion. And it's just sad. It's just sad that the government and then the media are more focused on Rachel Reeves crying. Right, I'm jumping down again, guys. I'm jumping down. Mickey is saying, what's happened in the UK, mate? In what context, Mickey? In what context? There's quite a few things happening in the United Kingdom at the moment, guys. First of all, we've got the incidents, Oh, hang on. Oh, so esoteric. Listen, esoteric. I'm going with esoteric. So esoteric is saying, Oasis perform in Cardiff tomorrow. Any new thoughts on your previous prediction? No, I don't have, I'm not going to update anything. I'm going to stay with what I said. I do think we're going to see the first skirmishes in Cardiff tomorrow. Now, how those skirmishes pan out and what level to that, I guess it's, kind of like, it doesn't matter now, guys, you know, because the critical mass is already there. The critical mass is already there. And more things have happened since I said that. Since I said like months ago, guys, listen, we're going to reach that critical mass in Cardiff on Friday. Since I said that, we've had a lot more stuff happen in the United Kingdom that just make this absolutely inevitable. Right. Deza is saying, did you find any more about the goods in the containers? Right, I did, yes, courtesy of Sharon Owen, but I forgot to get it up on the screen. Hang on, guys. Right, yeah. So this is from 5 days ago, guys. All right. So well, let me just give you guys some context. So if you're watching on TikTok or you're watching on if you're watching on YouTube, so the question was from Deza. Did you find out any more about the goods in the containers? So there was all these rumors about certain contraband firearms being brought into hotels, and I said, "Listen, guys, I see that as a low probability, but I will look into it." At the end of the live stream, Sharon Owen said, "Look, Sean, and she sent me a link. Now I'm going to read you this link, guys. Okay, so this is a link from BBC. All right, This did not get any media attention, and you'll understand why it didn't get any media attention. But this is from the 28th of June, guys. Okay, so." Millions of, and listen, guys, okay, and for the algorithm, all right, I'm reading this off the BBC. So what I'm reading now is open source media, okay? I'm reading open source media. Millions of pounds worth of firearms and drugs have been recovered from a lorry at the port of Dover, according to the National Crime Agency. Contextualize that for a moment, guys, okay? Millions of pounds worth. 20 firearms, 320 rounds of ammunition, and 170 kilos of the other stuff, confiscated from a Lithuanian registered HGV. The driver, a 34-year-old Tajikistan national, was arrested on suspicion of smuggling. Dave Smith, come on, are we really believing that his name's Dave Smith? Dave Smith, Border Force Director for the South East, said, "This is a significant seizure which demonstrates the vital work Border Force officers do every day to keep lethal stuff off our streets." So there we have it, guys. Now, listen, this is just what they're reporting on, guys. Now, what is it? 20 of the things that stuff, you know the metal things that stuff comes out at the end? 20 of those and 320 rounds. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot. And do you know what, guys? It's not a lot. But if you think about the incident, remember when the incident in the Charlie Hebdo incident? Two guys with those things. They closed down Paris and they made their escape because the police did not know how to deal with it, guys, okay? The police didn't know how to deal with it. The police are not ready. I mean, can you imagine the British police if somebody started, like, doing something like using one of those tools against them? I mean, what would they do? Wave their little rainbow flags? But yeah, so these things are happening, guys, okay? Millions of pounds worth of this sort of stuff is being smuggled into the United Kingdom. Now, we know about, in fact, what is that? I think that they've got a picture of, I don't know what that is, like a lower receiver for an, I don't know what it is, guys. There's a lower receiver. I was going to say it's a SIG, but it's definitely not a SIG. I don't know what it is. But we can understand now, guys, that people are trying to get this stuff into the country. And look, guys, I've, like, from day one, week one, I've said this so many times. If you're a people smuggler, all right, you want to make money. I don't think that's controversial, guys, all right? I don't think it is. So if you want to make money and you can bring millions of pounds worth of stuff in a waterproof bag dangling over the side of your boat. Why wouldn't you? Like, why wouldn't you do that? So I think that we've already got a lot of these things in the United Kingdom, guys. In the United Kingdom, you know, I really do. Right, let me just get some of these comments. Sean, there was a lot of hotel owners that said weapons were in the boat houses. Cassie, what do you mean by boat houses? Look, guys, I'm right. Okay, listen. I've said this before, and I know I keep saying this, guys. Listen, I just find it a bit like administrationally. It makes no sense to like. Just think of it, guys. All right, think of it. Right, just pretend. Right, just pretend you're like. Just pretend there is a conspiracy. All right, and when I'm talking about conspiracies, guys, I'll always go with like a cock-up rather than a conspiracy. I'll always go with incompetence rather than corruption. That's my first go-to. But yes, of course, these things do happen. Now, just think about it, right? Let's pretend I'm running the show, right? I'm the overlord. I'm the puppeteer behind the scenes, right? And I'm bringing all this stuff in, and I'm bringing these guys, and I'm putting them in that hotel, and I'm putting that over there, and I'm paying this politician off, and I'm bringing these shipments of the long, heavy things, you know. Are we really saying that I don't have 15 quid a week to spend on like a storage container off-site to put these things in until they're needed? I just, for me, the likelihood of that is low, guys. For me, the likelihood of that is low. James is saying, I just can't see Cardiff kicking off. I can see the Gallagher brothers kicking off. Yeah, maybe the Gallagher brothers kick off with each other and just have a scrap on stage. Esoteric is saying, in numerology, an 11-day tomorrow. Surely it's the 4th tomorrow, which is very emotional. So, Esoteric, how do you get 11 from 4? I don't know how you get 11 from 4, but I know the 11th, there's a concert in Manchester as well. And guys, look, when I'm talking about these things, I'm looking at where there's going to be masses of people. I'm looking at where there's going to be masses of people together. And that's always when you reach that critical mass. So I know I've said this a few times. So if you think about, like, I don't know, for every 100 people, for every 100 people that go to a protest, you might get one who is just going to go bonkers. They're going to pull the pins. They're going to go bonkers. They're going to be out of control. So you might get 1 per 100. And then in that 100, you might get 3 or 4 who are going to go a bit less bonkers. And then you might get 5 or 6 who are going to get a little bit less bonkers as well. But when you get that critical mass and you get them all together, that's when the problems start, guys. That's when the problems start. Right, I am going to Clive Lewis over on YouTube is saying, was Mad Max a documentary? The first thing I always think when I see Mad Max, I always think when I think about Mad Max, is like they're all driving these big gas guzzling cars. I know it wouldn't look as good on the pictures, but like people would be in the little smart cars, wouldn't they? Like the warlords would be driving. Like realistically, guys, if it was Mad Max, the warlords would be driving around like in their little smart cars. Chris Y is saying 203. Hang on. Right. Hang on, guys. I've got something here on YouTube. Let me Google this. So look, guys. So Chris White on YouTube is saying 203 Mansouri Corps are in Dublin hotels, proudly posting videos on TikTok. These are trained soldiers, Afghan trained. First of all, guys, all right, if they're Afghan trained, I would argue that they're not trained, but I know what you mean. Let me just Google this. Mansour is a region in Baghdad, guys, as well. Mansour is a region in Baghdad. It's where Saddam Hussein was building the biggest mosque, but it got he got invaded, so he had to stop. Let me just Google this real quick, guys, okay? So 203 Mansouri Corps is one of the 8 corps of the Islamic Emirate Army. Established in October 2021, headquartered in Gadsden. The current chief of staff is, I'm not going to pronounce his name, an Afghan. Okay, right. So that's legit. And I'm not casting doubt, guys. I just have to be very careful. No, I'm not getting anything on the mainstream, but let me go to X and see what's happening. Paste. Okay. No, I'm not getting anything, guys. I'm not finding anything. I can't find anything about that. So, Chris White, I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong, but can you find me a link or something, or point me to a link where I can talk about this? But Chris White is saying 203 Mansouri Corps are in Dublin Hotel, sorry, not Dubai. Proudly posting videos on TikTok. Yeah, guys, it's mad, isn't it? How you can proudly post these videos on TikTok, but if I say something like, I don't know, for example, if I said I didn't like someone, and I'm never going to say that because I like everyone, but if I said I didn't like someone, I would get my video banned and I would get like a swizzle. But right, let me jump back to the TikTok comments, guys. Let me jump back to the TikTok. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I guess we are on. I'm going to go through the beginning, guys. I'm going to go through, the crux of this live stream, okay? The United Kingdom, Germany, Finland, all had attacks today, guys, involving sharp things, and it's not my wit. So, if this was to happen like 3, 5, 10 years ago, it would be all over the mainstream media. But we've just become accustomed to it now. We've become accustomed to these things, and it's just like, oh, it's another thing. So, hang on. Lulu is saying, what happened in Manchester? Right, I will tell you what happened in Manchester, guys. I'm just going to jump off screen to caffeinate myself. I'll be back in a couple of seconds, guys, but just wait right there. Isn't it embarrassing when I have to jump off the screen to caffeinate myself, guys? Isn't it embarrassing? So Lulu is saying, what happened in Manchester? So if you don't know, guys, today in Manchester, there was, listen, I'm just going to call it an incident, all right? So there was a double incident involving a kitchen utensil, and it's not a fork and it's not a spoon, all right? So there was a double incident in Piccadilly Gardens as man fighting for life with new police powers across the whole of the city. And listen, guys, I hope it's not that Charlie Venich or whatever his name is, because I do like his content. I think I might. Guys, is that Charlie Venich? Is he on YouTube? I don't know. Is he on TikTok, guys? That Charlie Venich? Because I do like his content. I think he's quite. I mean, like, when we're watching these Charlie Venich movies, content, he's literally just walking around with like bodyguards, like antagonizing people. I think he's so funny. But right, sorry guys. So in Manchester last night or this morning, whichever way you want to look at it, a man is fighting for his life while a second is receiving treatment after a double thing in Piccadilly mornings in the early hours at 12:50 a.m. this morning. Now, the thing is, guys, nobody's being arrested for this. So the assailant, the attacker, you would speculate that he or she, I guess, or they, them, whatever their pronouns are, you would expect that that attacker is still on the run. And this just shows you now that this didn't get any media. This didn't get any media coverage, like none at all. And it just shows you guys, it just shows you how the media is very. They don't care, they don't care unless it's Rachel Reeves, unless it's what they're told to print, unless it's what they're told to report on. And honestly, guys, I don't know how Patrick Christie, still got his job on GB News, because he does some brilliant articles, guys, but really, I don't know how he still got his job. Right, let me get some of these comments. Linda Lou is saying, I heard Argentina are after the Falklands again. Won't you give me those Falklands, you crusty British? Well, listen, guys, let's face it. David Lammy, they don't need to try and take them by force. David Lammy will probably give them away. Look, guys, I've not talked about this for a while. In my opinion, the Argentinians will have another crack at the Falklands. That's my thoughts, guys, okay? Like right now, did you know? You're there. Did you know? And this is true, guys. This is true. You can go and fact check me for this. Did you know that the United Kingdom is sitting on the world's biggest oil reserves? Did you know that? I don't know. Maybe you knew that. Maybe you didn't. The United Kingdom, I'll say that again, guys, okay? The United Kingdom is sitting on oil reserves almost twice as big as Saudi Arabia. What do you think, guys? Do you think we should cripple ourselves for net zero while other countries around the world are making coal fires and, burning? Do you think we should cripple ourselves with the highest electricity costs, the highest energy costs? Or do you think we should go down there and take that oil and just not destroy ourselves? I would go with the latter. So yeah. Now this all emanates around the Falkland Islands, guys. Okay. So for those of you guys who don't know, whoever controls the Falkland Islands controls the whole of Antarctica. Oh, but Sean, Antarctica's split up into international territories and blah, 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 blah. Yes, that is true. But the only place that you can land a ship, the only place that has a beach, is a little slither, a little peninsula on Antarctica that the United Kingdom lays stake to. Now, we lay stake to that because we control the Falkland Islands. If we didn't control the Falkland Islands, we would have no stake to, and the British Empire has been very strategic and very good at controlling access and egress points. Gibraltar is a perfect example. Gibraltar is the access and egress to the Mediterranean. Whoever controls Gibraltar controls the Med. There's no arguments, guys. There's no argument. Whoever controls Gibraltar controls the Med. Whoever controls whoever controls the Falkland Islands controls Antarctica. So it's a key location, guys. And if you look, remember what I always say, don't look what people are saying, look what people are doing. The Argentinians are spending all their military budget on amphibious landing craft, long-range strike capability, and you're like, why are they buying that? What are they going to do? They're going to have an amphibious war with Peru? No, of course not. And the problem in the United Kingdom is politics is short term, but policy should be long term. So we have politicians who only see 4 years because let's face it, who thinks the Labour Party is going to be in 4 years? So it's just, it really does to me seem like we've been sold down we've been sold down the wrong way. Right, I'm just going to jump on some, right guys, the YouTube channel is just on bonkers with the comments, guys. Hang on. Silly Gallardi has said to all the Europeans that has been shouting globalist, the intifada, they got their wish. Tilly, what does that mean? To all the Europeans that have been shouting globalize the intifada, they got their wish. I don't know what that means, Silly, but can you elaborate on that a little bit more, please? Excuse me. Carol Easton is saying, not Charlie. I can't pronounce this guy's second name, guys. I really can't pronounce his second name. Viech or something. I think, like, you know, the VTech toys you get your kids. That's what I keep thinking, Charlie VTech. He's on YouTube. Piccadilly Gardens is well known for bad stuff. Chris White is saying, that's his page. It was on an Irish guy's video, but was just saying how they think that the rules of the streets, it had a badge with details on it. Oh, and Claire is saying, Charlie, what are we saying? Is it Vici? Charlie Vici or something? I don't know. But he says apparently he's okay. Lisa Jane is saying, I've just sent you a video on TikTok of Patrick Christie being mentioned in the comments, reference smashing the gangs, good, and sending the Home Office, etc. All the phone numbers. Yeah, look, guys, listen. I did the simple Raven paramaths. I did, guys. I did the Raven paramaths. So I don't know if any of you are watching who know me from my professional career, but when I used to do maths, guys, it was some fantastic maths, and it was either called Raven maths or paramaths. Now, whatever you want to think about that, guys, it's pretty wild, you know. But I did my rudimental paramaths or Raven maths, whichever one you're thinking, and I worked out that for me, Raven, to stop the gangs, it would cost 1.6 million, and it would take me a year. They'd be finished. I would close them down, guys. I would close them down like I would close them down like I would close them down like Trump closes down nuclear bunkers. They'd be done, over, finished, not coming back. It's over. Go directly to jail. Do not collect $200. Go directly to jail. You are through. But I need certain legal assurances with that. But anyway, guys, look, let me, where am I going next? Where am I going? I'm going to come down onto YouTube comments, guys. Lisa Jane is saying, drill, baby, drill. Drill, baby, drill. Yeah, so I think we talked. So, guys, look, and again, I when I started these channels, I used to do quite a few videos on the Falkland Islands. When I first joined the military, actually, 1st Battalion Parachute Regiment, my platoon sergeant, was a Falklands vet, and you know, so that's like kind of where I got my first training on bunker busting. Now, you know, and the stuff he was telling me about the Falkland Islands, it was pretty rock and roll, guys. I mean, it was pretty rock and roll. Can you see, like, Keir Starmer sending out a task force, like, to go and take back some islands in the South Atlantic that are just in the middle of nowhere? Like, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I think another 3 or 4 days fighting and the British military would have run out of ammunition, like, because we were that low on ammunition. You know, it's a fantastic undertaking, guys. And for anybody, listen, for anybody who talks about Royal Marines, go and look at pictures of Royal Marines in the Falklands. They're like this. All the Royal Marines in the Falklands have got their hands up. Listen, you know, if you put into Google, Parachute Regiment surrenders, it will actually come up underneath it. Did you mean Royal Marine surrenders? That's Google, guys, all right? That's the algorithm, right? Because I don't know. That's the algorithm. Listen, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying that's what the algorithm says. Right, anyway, guys, let me jump up. Lulu is saying Starmer is not a war prime minister. I mean, it could be argued. Look, guys, you know, I don't want to be overtly negative. Remember when Keir Starmer was elected and I said, right, guys, I'm gonna give him a chance. I'm gonna give him a chance. You know, it's hard. It's hard to give him a chance, and it's hard to look objectively. You know, when you're when you do courses and you go away, like people who are incompetent, guys, it really brings out the worst in me. It does, guys. It brings out the worst in me, and it just drives me crackers. You know, and we have got a top team. You know, we have got a top team of wokeness in the United Kingdom. And look, do you know what, actually, guys? This is just slightly off topic and going back to yesterday's video. So slightly off topic, guys, and going back to yesterday's video, what we was talking about. You know, when we was on the live and I was talking about Rachel Reeves crying, and like literally all the things that we spoke about on this channel are kind of like things that people were saying, like, you know, why did Keir Starmer have her there? Like, would we have been bothered if she wasn't there at the side of him? There's more to this, guys. There's a lot more to this thing. You know, there's a lot more to this that's going on. Like, whatever was said to her, she is the top team. She is number 2 in the country. She's Keir Starmer's right-hand man. She should have all her stuff put together. You just don't expect that, guys. You know, if like it was like in the military and somebody starts, can you imagine if you're in the military and somebody starts blubbering and you'd be like, yeah, that person needs to be sideways promoted. You know, it's just unbelievable, guys, unbelievable. Lulu is saying she came out with a fixed false grin today, and yeah, she has got that false grin, hasn't she, guys? Miss Gem 1985 is saying, why did I think I just pinned that. No, I didn't pin it. Miss Gem is saying, why do you think she was crying? I don't know why she was crying. I genuinely, and do you know what? I'm going to say something that is totally out of my own, it's totally out of my sphere here. And it's not something I usually say. I don't care why she was crying. The fact that she was crying is unbelievable. It's despicable. And, you know, as a leader of a country, I mean, can you imagine David Cameron crying? Can you imagine David Cameron sat there crying? I've had some bad news at home. Do you know what? If you've had some bad news at home, you shouldn't be there. Go. That's how things, you know, that's how it roll. That's how you should roll. Yeah, I've got absolutely zero sympathy, guys. Zero sympathy. Dude Monkfish over on YouTube is saying Ukraine will fall by September. US supports soon to stop. Europe will continue to rearm. Ukraine will fall by September. You got that bit. US support soon. Ah, right. Yeah. US support soon to stop. Yeah. Sorry. I read that wrong. It was my fault, not your English. So Dude Monkfish over on YouTube is saying Ukraine will fall by September. Depends what we mean by fall. What do we mean by fall? First of all, the Russians, in my strategic analysis, the Russians are not going to make it over the river Dnipro, guys. At best case scenario, the Russians could make it up to the Dnipro, but only at the south by Dnipro. I don't see them going any further north than that. But listen, you know what? Who knows? But the US support soon to stop. Yes, absolutely, guys. All right. This is the things that we've been saying on this channel for over a year. We said that by 2025, the United Kingdom would take the lead role, and they have, and the United States would be focusing on the Middle East. Right, let me jump down and get these comments on YouTube. Jared is saying, being vulnerable is not a weakness. I mean, that's literally the definition of weakness, isn't it? Let me pin this. So, hang on. Jared is saying to Seb Prime, being vulnerable is not a weakness. I'd argue that, guys. I would say being vulnerable is the ultimate sign of weakness. Let's just see what the word vulnerable means. Vulnerable, exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, either physically or emotionally. We were in a vulnerable position. So that is literally the definition of, I would say vulnerable is synonymous with weakness. Look, guys, I don't know. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, guys, okay? Maybe I'm old-fashioned and I think we should have a strong government. I don't know. Maybe it's 2025 and we should just have as a government, right? Maybe we should have, as a government, a bunch of blubbering girls crying, all talking about their emotions and feelings, while bad stuff's happening and they're all going, oh, but we can't do this. Oh, squirt, squirt, squirt. I don't know. Maybe that's the new. And then Kemi Badenoch. Maybe Kemi Badenoch needs to, she's like, we're losing votes here. We're losing votes. I don't know. Throw some onions in my eyes. Throw some onions in my eyes, and we're all having a good cry. I don't know. Listen, guys. Maybe I'm just a dinosaur, and I think that we should have a strong government, guys. Maybe it's just me, and I think we should have a strong government. I think somebody handed a listen. We don't actually know. Listen, guys. Maybe we're all wrong. Maybe somebody was just cutting onions. Maybe somebody was just cutting onions in the back room and she got swizzled. She was like, oh, who got these onions in my eyes? I don't know. Planting Seed is saying, why did you Google vulnerable? Don't you know the definition? So, Planting Seeds is saying, why did I have to Google vulnerable? Don't you know the definition? Guys, listen, I've had so many of my videos taken down. I've had live streams blocked. I have to be didactically perfect. So if I give you guys, my Raven's definition of vulnerable, and I'm saying vulnerability is equal to weakness, or something like that, then the video might get banned. So, I'm just crossing my T's and dotting my I's. But Planting Seeds, that's an interesting name. Are you like do you like have trees or something? I don't know. Right. Jared is saying emotions are not weakness. It's part of human nature. Now, Jared, listen, I don't want to get into a weighing competition, but you can't change the goalposts, all right? You can't say, right, Jared, first of all, I love you and I love your comments, all right? And I do, and they're fantastic. You can't say vulnerability is not weakness and then change your mind afterwards and say, oh no, what I really meant was emotions, all right? Vulnerability is literally the definition of weakness. Don't argue with me. Don't argue with me, all right? Anybody who wants to argue with me saying, oh no, vulnerability is this, go and argue with the Oxford Dictionary, right? Write a letter to Oxford and say, your definition of vulnerability is wrong. People who show vulnerability can actually be really strong. And that vulnerability actually scares people. Because if you're showing vulnerability, your enemies actually think you're really strong because you're vulnerable. Go and explain it to them, guys, okay? Go and explain it to them, all right? I'm just reading you the definition. And for Planting Seeds, who was asking me why I'm reading the definition off the dictionary, this is why, because people argue with me, and I'm like, right, you're not arguing with me, you're literally arguing with a definition that was written by somebody else. And look, guys, I get it. It's 2025. Words don't mean what they're meant to mean anymore. Like the guy who was chanting on screen, and he's saying the thing to the IDF that I can't say on TikTok, and he's saying the thing, but. Well, it turns out that's what he was saying. But what he really meant was he wanted the collapse of the IDF. He didn't actually mean what he was saying. The words he was saying, he didn't actually mean that by the literal context. What he meant was something totally different. So we're in this world now where I can say an absolutely obscene insult to you, your family, and then I can just say, oh yeah, I didn't mean that. What I actually meant was, do you want to go for fish and chips this afternoon? Oh no, that's my interpretation. Right? Look, guys, the English language is the one thing that we have left, all right? It's the one thing that we have left. Let's use it correctly. Let's use the English language correctly. And you know what, guys? I get it. I'm a fully qualified English gentleman. It's my birthright. It is my birthright to make up words. Deal with it. Right, let me jump up and get a few of these comments, guys. Let me jump up and get a few of these comments. Trippy. I'm just going to pin that Trippy, and I'm not going to mention it because there's a few words on there that I'll get done for. James is saying, yeah, the James, fantastic. So James is giving another little thing here, right? So James is saying, what if you're on a plane and the pilot's voice came over the intercom crying? So can you imagine that, guys? So look, guys, all right, listen, call me old-fashioned. I think men should be strong. I think people should be strong. I think government should be strong. I think what's mine's mine. I think if you want it, come and take it. You know, I think that's how we should work, okay? We've got eyes in the front of our heads. Naturally, humans are predators, all right? If we were not, thank you, Paige Butler, for subscribing so much, Paige, 6-month subscriber. Thank you so much. So, you know, we are apex predators. It's our nature to compete about stuff, you know. And if you don't want to be competitive, that's absolutely fine. Go and scratch yourself a living under a tree for nuts and berries or something. I don't know. Go like and say, oh, I'm not hurting anyone. I'm just scratching a living for nuts and berries. And then when we say, oh, you're sick. Do you want some penicillin? And they say, oh, no, I can't have penicillin. Why? Oh, that was developed by a corporate. That was developed by capitalism and people were making money off it. I don't want that. I don't believe in capitalism. All right, that's fine. What about when you're going into hospital and you need a surgery? Oh, I'm not doing surgery. Those implements were made by capitalists, and those capitalists are making money. They're making better products. And because they're making better products, they're getting paid more for them. I don't want any doctors to do surgery on me. I'm just going to lay here, and hopefully my nuts and berries will see me through. Guys, listen, it's absurd. We're humans, all right? We're humans. We're apex predators. We're top of the food chain. It's how we roll. Sorry. James said something, and I totally just ranted over the top of it. Right, James was saying, hang on. James was saying something. I'm just scrolling up, guys, to get the comments. There we are. Sorry, guys, I was ranting. Right, so James is saying, all right, can you imagine we're talking here about weakness, guys, and some people are saying, you know, that showing vulnerability could actually be a show of strength, all right? So put it in this scenario, right? You're coming into land at Heathrow Airport, right? Or wherever. You're coming into land at Heathrow Airport, and the pilot gets on the intercom, and he's like, oh, I've had such a bad day at work. I'm so upset. Oh, we're coming into land, but I'm so sad. Like, how are you going to feel? Are you going to think, oh, no, actually, he's showing his vulnerability, so we know he's got this. He's showing his vulnerability, so we're all, like, how are you going to feel about that? Anyway, let me jump down and get, oh, hang on. Whoa. Right, hang on, I've got this. Hang on, I'm waffling. Raven, Trump's just declared what? Right, guys, we may be on for a consider. Right, guys, calm down. All right, so okay. Right, right, there's nothing on the mainstream with that title, guys. There's nothing on the mainstream, guys, about Donald Trump. Nothing on the mainstream about Donald Trump declaring war. Let me just... So I don't know where that's from, guys. I don't know where that's from. Just... No, I've got nothing, guys. There's nothing on the mainstream, nothing on X, nothing talking about Donald Trump declaring war, guys. Nothing about Donald Trump declaring wars. Niet spasiba, niet diakiu, la shukran habibi. Not happening, guys. Not happening. There's no such thing. Zoe Dean is saying 2 people said Pentagon was live, and no, it's not happened. Like, okay, so Zoe Dean, with your comment, I've just looked on mainstream. I can't find anything. Like, something like that would be all over, guys, all right? Something like that would be all over. I mean, all I've got now is Alex Jones. All I've got is Alex Jones from the 28th of January. Let's just listen to what Alex Jones has got to say, guys, because he's getting really irate. Let's just listen to what this is from the 28th of January, guys, okay?
Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Homan and the Trump administration have officially declared war and signed the executive orders to go after the drug cartels. And if third world countries where they came from won't take them, they're going to ship them to El Salvador. I'm about to show you footage of illegal aliens waving Mexican flags.
I love Alex Jones, guys. He's fantastic, isn't he?
Flags in Dallas, beating up citizens with American and Trump flags and stealing their American flags and stomping on them. America's back. Trump is purging the whole deep state right now. He's attacking on all fronts. After you watch this clip and share it, tune in at Real Alex Jones on X. It's going to be live from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. today with huge guests breaking massive intel. If you want tomorrow's news today and you want to have the latest intel, then tune in and share the link now because you are the Paul Revere's and we're going to fucking defeat the New World Order. This is information war. Join me in the historic battle with President Trump now.
Well, there you go, guys. You heard it from Alex Jones. You heard it from Alex Jones, guys. Yeah, but guys, there's nothing out there on the mainstream about nothing on the mainstream about Donald Trump declaring war, guys. Nothing on the mainstream about Donald Trump declaring war. Zip. Apparently, he's speaking live from the Pentagon. Let me get this. Right, there's quite a few people talking. Let me just try and do this again. No, I'm getting nothing, guys. Absolutely nothing. Donald Trump live. No, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Unless it's nothing from like a week ago. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, listen, we are coming up to that time. We are going to close the TikTokers down, and then we're going to go over to YouTube for a little bit, guys. We're going to be over on YouTube for a little bit. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you are on and you like this content, and if guys, I think I need to reach out to Charlie Vecchio, or whatever his name is, because I do think he's quite funny. I'd like to get involved with this. I'd like to get involved with this going out on. Oh, James is saying, "Go Team America." I love Team America. It used to be my ringtone on my phone when I used to work for an American customer. I used to have Team America. You know, the America. America. I used to have that as my ringtone on my phone. But anyway, guys, listen, I am going to be jumping over to YouTube, guys. I'm going to be jumping over to YouTube. I'm going to close you guys down on TikTok. I will be back tomorrow morning at 8. Not at 8. I won't be back at 8. I'll be in bed at... No, I won't be in bed at 8. I will be up at 8 o'clock, but I won't be live at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow, I will be back at 10 p.m. in the morning, guys. So 10 a.m. in the morning. I know I said p.m. there. That's a little thing that I used to do when I was little. I'll be back tomorrow morning, guys, at 10 a.m. We'll see what's happening. I'll find if there's any truth, and I don't think there is, guys. I don't think there's any truth that Donald Trump is... I don't think there's any truth that Donald Trump's declaring war. But what we do know is that the situation in Iran is continuing. We know that we're going to talk about this actually over on YouTube, guys. If you've not done so already, guys, please click the buttons up there on TikTok, down below on YouTube. Jump over, cross-pollination. Remember, we're on X, we're on YouTube, and we are on YouTube as well. X, TikTok, and YouTube. My name is the same for all of them, guys. The Real Raven One. I'm going to close you guys down now, and you've been absolutely fantastic. And we're done. I think we're done. Yes, we are done. Right, I've just noticed how dark it is. Let me turn the light on over here, guys. Oh, hang on. Oh. Right, so where are we? Right, guys, listen, I want to talk a little bit. I want to talk a bit about these stabbings and axe attacks and all sorts of crazy stuff that's happening, across Europe. Now, 3 attacks today, guys, okay? 3 attacks. Now, I can remember when, one attack would have been news all over. It would have been all over the papers. It would have been all over the left, all over the right, all over up, all over down. It would have been everywhere. Nobody cares anymore. Literally, nobody cares anymore. And I think one of the comments on the I think it was on TikTok was, we don't care anymore. We just shut our doors and say, glad it's them, not me. And that really is where we are now, guys. It's just unbelievable. Now, if you just do and again, when I was looking for this earlier, I'm just going to do it now. Hang on. Germany. If you just do a Google search, Germany stabbings, it's unbelievable, guys. It's unbelievable the amount of knife attacks in Germany, guys. Unbelievable. Let me just try and get some statistics. I'll get statistics for 24. Statistics. I mean, they may not print them. Right. So this is from A2CNN. All right. I'm just opening this up, guys. Now I'm just reading this. This is in Germany, right? German newspaper Bild cites data from crime statistics, according to which there's an average, 79 knife attacks per day in Germany. Now that's from, I'll try and put the, hang on, let me continue. It is recalled that in 2024, the police recorded a total of 29,014 criminal offences related to knife attacks, and the number of serious knife increased I've got to read, and that the number of serious knife injuries increased by 10% on the previous year. 29,000 knife attacks in Germany in 2024. Can you remember Angela Merkel standing up there saying all Syrians are well? Listen, I'm not sure. I don't know if this is related or not. But can you remember when Angela Merkel was saying come to Germany, you'll be welcomed. Come to Germany, come to Germany. I don't know how that's working out, guys. Do you know what? Let's just do some fact checking here, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check now, guys. I'm just going to go on the internet and I'm going to check. I'm going to look on the internet. I'm going to look when Angela Merkel invited all the migrants to Germany. So when did... So the Germans were saying, 2015. So this was 2015, guys. The then Chancellor, Angela Merkel, hang on, let me read this. So a statement by Angela Merkel, we can manage this. The 2015 European migrant crisis has been described as a slogan of the German Communist Party. It was 2015, guys. So listen, I'm going to go now and I'm going to look at knife crime 2014. Let's just see what numbers we get, guys. All right, let's just see what numbers we get. So I'm just doing a search now, guys. Knife attacks, Germany, 2014. Right. Let me see. Let me. It's difficult to find this information, guys. So data from the police crime statistics of individual German states show that in several cities, the number of knife attacks increased. That's the increase from 2013. Right. Okay. That's not giving me the information I want. The information is diluted. The information is diluted. Right. I need to re-ask this question. You know what? I'm going to ask Grok. Let me try and find this. Answer with a number. How many what did we say? 2014. Let's go 2013. Let's go 2013. Interesting. So I've just asked, guys, listen, I'm trying to get to the bottom of this because I'm really interested now. Because the number that I've just seen on knife attacks in Germany is phenomenal, guys, all right? 29,000, all right? 29,000 in 2024. Very difficult to find. I will get to the bottom of this. Oh, I've got it. Yes. Right. Sit yourselves down, ladies and gentlemen. Get yourself a stiff drink and prepare to be not shocked. All right. Prepare to be not shocked. All right. So together, as a team, as a group, we did a little bit of research. I'm going to read you on this, guys. Okay. So I'll be clear, this is what Grok's saying, all right? Specific data on knife attacks in Germany for 2014 is not comprehensively available, as the word in Germany only began systematically tracking knife crime incidents in 2020. However, one source indicates that in 2014, approximately 2,944 stab-related offences were recorded based on media reports, citing a 53% rise in total weapon-related crimes. Now, crimes including firearms, knives, and blunt weapons, from 3,624 in 2013. So that has actually gone up. So that's gone up massively. So if we just take that, guys, all right, let's take 2013, because I did try the number here, guys. All right, look, the number here that Grok is giving me, for 2013 is 3,624 knife crimes in Germany. That's 2013. Now, 2024, like 11 years later, 29,000. I don't know what happened. What happened to Germany, guys? What happened to Germany? Can we remember? Correlation is not causation, but if the cap fits, wear it. God, you know, it's unbelievable. Why are people not why are people not doing case studies on this here? Why are people not doing a case studies and saying, right, what happened to Germany after 2013? What happened to Germany after 2013? Did something change? Has something changed? You know, it'd be interesting. I'm not going to do it now, but it would be interesting to get the statistics of knife crime. It would be interesting to get the statistics of knife crime 2012, 2011, 2020. Go back and see what the fluctuation of knife crime is. I'm going to speculate it's been a steady rise, a slow rise. And then all of a sudden, boom, what happened? What happened? I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? I'm not going to speculate, but what we do know is there was a massive, massive migration into Germany 2015. We know that. It was the we can cope. I think Angela Merkel was saying we can cope. That's what her, that's what her slogan was in Germany. We schaffen das. Yeah. I mean, we schaffen das, yeah. Yeah, we schaffen das. We schaffen du. Yeah, we schaffen du. Yeah, so, but in Germany, that means we can manage this. So this is, we're talking about here the mass migration of Germany in 2015, guys. Look, I don't know if these things are related. I would suspect they are, but who knows, guys? Who knows? Who would have thought of having mass uncontrolled migration into a country would leap into a knife crime of 3,624 in 2013. Remember, guys, this is from Grok. This is what Grok's telling me. Two, the situation where we are now, 2014, obviously, sorry, not 2014, 2024, obviously the numbers for 2025 are not out, where we've got 29,000 criminal offences relating to knife attacks. Unbelievable, guys. Who would have thought about it? Nikki. Oh, hang on. Sorry. So Nixie, hello Nixie. I don't believe I've spoken to you before. Nixie is saying, are you aware that this immigration is an agenda and who is behind it? You know what? I used to think I knew. I used to think. Now this is going to be a bit wild, guys. All right, this is going to be a bit wild. All right. I used to think that I knew. I did. I used to think that I knew who was pushing this, and I was quietly confident about that. I was quietly confident about that. Now I'm not so sure, guys. You know, now I'm not so sure. I used to think this was near peer adversaries. In fact, let's just go back. Let's go back. One of the things I always say when, like, well, you know, so Nixie. So sometimes on this channel we talk about aliens and UAPs and UFOs and, you know, propulsion and the hollow moon and simulation theory. You know, I used to think I knew who was doing this, but one of the things that I always say when people say to me, Sean, did we go to the moon? Did the Americans go to the moon? The one thing I always say in response to that was because I get it, right? You know, when you look back at the moon landing images, videos now, and you're seeing these guys bouncing around, you're like, that looks ridiculous. That literally looks absolutely insane. And then you look at all the anomalies, like, for example, did you know the footage that was like live broadcast to everyone of the moon landing? Did you know that wasn't an actual feed? That was in America, the mainstream media, I guess, they had their cameras set up and they were recording a TV screen at NASA. they weren't allowed to have an actual feed. They were just recording a TV screen. So there's so many different things. And like when you see the, when you see the launch capsule or whatever it is go up, it literally looks like, honestly, guys, it looks like something, it looks like something on a string just being pulled up really quickly. And it all does look ridiculous. And one of the things that I always say is, if the Americans faked the moon landing, then, sorry, I was right. If the Americans faked the moon landing, then the Russians were in on it. I've always said that, and I've always thought that is so ridiculous that can't be the case. So I've always just got to that level of questioning in my mind and said, nah, not happening, never going to happen. The Americans were not in with the Russians. They were having a space race. It just wasn't happening. But now, if you think about it, if you rejig that and say, right, the Russians are actually in on this, it makes perfect sense that you could fake the moon landing. Because don't forget, the Russians will have had the telemetry equipment to check what was happening. Of course, the Russians can track those, spaceships. The Saturn V rocket, sorry, it wasn't the Saturn V rocket, was it? It was the, you guys know what I'm talking about. The Saturn V launch, I think that'd be the right term to use. The Saturn V launch, the Russians can, of course, track the Saturn V launch, see where it's going, see if it landed, see what it did. Of course, the Russians can do that. And of course, the Russians can intercept signals. So if the Americans were faking it, then the Russians would have called them out. And that's what I've always said. Right, let me jump up and get these. So Nixie is saying, we've been lied to on a massive scale. Zionists, and I hope Silly Gennard is not watching, because she'll be upset with you if you say that. Zionists control it all. Putin is a Zionist too. Zionists control the CIA. And therefore all nations on this planet are being run. MorphFX. That would be, so what MorphFX is saying, that would be the conclusion, the unattainable conclusion that you come to. If you just go with that, what I just said. So guys, look, do your own research, right? If you think the moon landing is fake, and I don't know, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know. But I totally get it, right? Like, you look at these, you look at these moon landing things, and it just, like, right now, I don't know, guys, when was the last time you watched the moon landing videos? It looks so silly. It looks so silly. And when the capsule shoots off, you can literally see it wobbling like it's on a, like it's on a string. But if you come to the conclusion, if you think that is fake and you believe that is fake, right? Just go with this, guys. All right, go with this. Go with this line of logical deduction, if that's a word. I don't know. Go with this logical deduction. Do you believe the moon landings are fake? Yes or no? It's a simple question. Yes, fine. Go about your life. Sorry, no, that the people went to the moon. Fine. Go about your life. Be happy. If you believe the moon landings were fake, right, okay, you believe the moon landings were fake. Right, okay. Ask the next question. Who could have called them out on that? And you've got to understand that time, there was a space race between Russia and America. Like, honestly, guys, like, the Russians will have, radar systems, whatever, to be able to track that vessel, that vehicle launch. So if you believe that the moon landings were fake, you also have to believe that the Russians were in on it. You do. There's no other way, guys. Right? There's no other way about that. So you have to believe the Russians were in on it. All right. So, right, the Russians were in on it. So now you have to say, right, if the Russians and the Americans are joint forces, then, if the Russians and the Americans are joint forces then, why would they not be joint forces now? And then you start to ask yourself, logical questions that are like, wow, is the whole left-right politics an illusion? Is voting does voting actually do anything? And then Nixie is saying CFR. I don't know what CFR means, Nixie. I don't know what CFR means at all. Right, there's a lot of questions on here, guys, on YouTube. I do apologise if I missed any. I'm going to do G Regen XS, who is saying, I read an X yesterday, they're expecting a revolt in Brussels and a vote of no confidence in von der Leyen. Who takes over from her will be far worse, no doubt. And yeah, I do think we're all heading to like some sort of crazy conflict at the moment, guys. It does seem like, oh, Council of Foreign Relationship. Hang on. And then Pangea, oh, are we going down, guys? Is it the time? Are we going down the aliens route? There's quite a few conspiracies on here, guys. And listen, if you want, I'll loosen my belt a little bit and we will go full conspiracy because I'm down with that. You know Raven's going to go down Conspiracy Avenue. I'll go down Conspiracy Avenue, round Conspiracy Roundabout. I'll park up and go and have a pint in Conspiracy Arms. I love that stuff. Right, so Pangea Prime is saying, Pangea Prime is saying, told not to buy the aliens. So I think Pangea Prime, so what was his name? Buzz Aldrin. Didn't Buzz Aldrin say that they were being watched by someone or something? And there is quite a few strange things about this guy. So, there is so much strangeness about the moon. First of all, on the moon, we all look out on the moon, and because it's always been there since like anyone can remember, everybody just kind of accepts it. But if you look deeper into the moon, guys, it should not be there, guys, right? The moon should not be there. The size of the moon, like the size of the moon, guys, I think it's the third biggest moon in our solar system. So if you conceptualize that, it's bigger than a lot of the moons of Jupiter. It's bigger than a lot of the moons of Saturn. It's bigger than a lot of the moons of Uranus and Neptune. And don't laugh when I say Uranus. So, the size of our moon, our little planet is not big enough to catch our moon in our gravity well. It just isn't, guys, all right? That's literally physics as we know it. Our little planet does not have the pulling power to pull such a catch like the moon, all right? Doesn't happen. And then you look into it even further and you think, right, okay, all the craters on the moon, they go no further than there's a depth that the craters on the moon don't go any deeper to. And, when you start to look at this and you start to think, yeah, that actually makes sense. You start to open up and, go down these rabbit holes. Pangea Prime is saying the moon is hollow and an alien satellite. So what's inside the moon then? We say we say the moon's hollow. Is it some sort of Death Star? Because isn't it a little bit creepy that we only ever see one side of the moon? We only ever see our side of the moon. Let's be honest, guys, right? If you were aliens, and you wanted to have, look, and I'm not convinced that aliens cruise around in little saucers. I'm not. But if you're an alien, right, and you're cruising around in your little saucer, you're going to Starbucks, you're getting your sandwiches from Pret, and you're just living your best life. Where are you going to have your base? You're going to have it on you're going to have it close to Earth, aren't you? Close to Earth that's stable, that people from Earth have got no way of getting to you. So you're going to have it on the moon. You're not going to have it on the light side of the moon. Remember, guys, okay, the dark side of the moon, it's not dark. It gets just as much sunlight as the light side of the moon, which is we never see it. That's why it's called the dark side of the moon. So that's where you're going to have your base and your secondary base. So that's where you're going to have your main logistics base, all right, on the dark side of the moon. You're then going to have a forward operating base in the ocean, and then you're going to come down into the ocean. There's a movie called Dark Side. That's an album by Pink Floyd. There's a movie, and I can't remember the movie. It's got what's that guy's name? It's got a guy in it, and I know that doesn't narrow it down for anyone. the premise of the movie, basically, Jupiter Ascending or Jupiter Arising or something. Now, the premise of this movie is that Earth is just livestock. And these alien races come and they harvest Earth every, like, I don't know, every X, whenever the population is high enough on Earth, they just come and harvest it. And the more you think about that, you know, the more you look at like sheep in a field, right? Imagine, guys, this is going to be a bit distasteful for some people. Imagine sheep in a field, right? Yeah. So you're there, little sheepy in the field, and the farmer comes, and the lambs are going, "Oh, how awesome is that farmer? He comes, the farmer, he comes, he gives us water, he keeps us in this cage and makes sure no bad animals come and get us, and he feeds us, and he's always there. And when I got stuck in the fence, he came and he got me out. And then every couple of months, the farmer turns up in his like truck. Come on, sheepies. Come on, sheepies, little lambs." And the other lambs are like, "Where are they going?" "They're going to lamb heaven." "What?" "Yeah, they're going to lamb paradise." "And what's lamb paradise?" "It's a beautiful place where the farmer, he always texts them. He never brings any of them back because they all have such a good, you see where I'm going with this, guys? You see where I'm going with this? I always think about that when I see livestock in a field. But listen, don't get me wrong. I do love a good ribeye. Right, let me jump down. Pangea Prime is saying Earth is a prison planet. It may be a prison planet. Who knows? And then Zoe Dean is saying the fact that we know more about space than we do our oceans always blows my mind. So I don't think that statement. Yeah, I mean, I know what we're saying. We like there's vast parts of the ocean that are massively unmapped. We don't know what's down there, guys. We don't know what's in the ocean. We really don't. I would say we know more about the surface of the moon. I would say a truer statement is we know more about the surface of the moon than we do about the surface of our own oceans. And that's a true statement, guys. John is saying, what have you said next makes absolute sense. Every 8,200 years we seem to have a war. I don't think it's 80,000 years. I think we would probably say like 82,000 years, maybe. Maybe like the long lifetime of a human. I don't know. And then I can't. Pangea Prime is saying, what if they don't have an underwater base but a hollow Earth? Listen. Sometimes when I'm in the dark, when I'm down the dark passages of the internet, with the hollow Earth thing, remember there was the at the end of the Second World War, there was Operation High Jump. Now, Operation High Jump was where Admiral Byrd went down to the Antarctica. Do you call it the Antarctica or Antarctica? Anyway, he went down the South Pole. Admiral Byrd, he took a fleet. He took a fleet of. Is it a fleet of ships? He took a load of warships, basically, aircraft carriers, a massive expeditionary force to go and explore the South Pole at the end of the Second World War. Now, some of the reports of Admiral Byrd. I mean, Admiral Byrd was an avid pilot himself. He didn't really take control of the. He didn't really take control of the mission. He was just flying around. But yeah, some of the reports would be in line with the hollow Earth theory. I think it's a low likelihood, the hollow Earth. But I do think Antarctica is absolutely wild, guys. There's so many question marks over Antarctica. You can't go there. You can't claim anything there. It's the only place on Earth you can't do mineral extraction. It's just bonkers, guys, okay? It's absolutely bonkers. And then D. Marie Gen X is saying, remember they were sending those people to Mars. They had to say goodbye to their families and spend 5 years training. What happened to that story? I don't know about that story, D. Marie Gen X. Genuinely don't know. Genuinely no idea about that. I don't know about the people they were sending. So apparently, D. Marie Gen X is saying, remember, they were sending people to Mars. They had to say goodbye to their families and all spend 5 years training. I've no idea. Never heard of that. Never heard of that. I would, if you could give me more information on that, I'd be interested in that. And then Pangea Prime is saying Hollow Earth theory is real, and he's got question marks, so that would say he's doubting it himself. I don't know. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this down now. I'm going to close this down. It's been great hanging out with you guys, talking about aliens and stuff. I love talking about aliens and theories and all these sort of things. Hollow Earth theory, all this sort of stuff, guys. I love it. But anyway, I'm going to go now. I'll be back tomorrow in the United Kingdom. I live in the United Kingdom. I'll be back tomorrow, guys, at 10 in the morning, hopefully. We'll be talking about what's been happening, the craziness that's happening. Just look at them statistics, guys, from Germany. What happened in Germany between 2013 and now? The amount of, I'm just going to read it again, guys, okay? It's recalled that in Germany, 2024, the police in Germany recorded a total of 29,014 criminal offences related to knife attacks. Yet in 2013, there was 3,624 recorded similar attacks. Anyway, guys, listen, I'm going to go. You guys have been indeed fantastic. Great hanging out with you guys again. I'll see you tomorrow.